Welcome everyone to Jackaroots, Stafford Speedway, home of the SK Modifieds. The race tonight is going to feature the Super Late Models, a car that is universally loved here on the iRacing platform for its rugged durability, and it's presented tonight by All Phases Renovations. You're watching this event live tonight on Stafford Speedway's YouTube channel, brought to you by the Global Sim Racing channel. Good evening, I'm Jeff McConey, and with me in the booth is Bon Satufa. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. All Phases Renovations has generously stepped up to sponsor this event tonight, and we want to thank them for helping us bring this racing action to all of you, as well as a cash prize for the winner of tonight's Super Late Model event. The field will consist of the Stafford regulars we have grown used to seeing and cheering for on Friday night, as well as 5 fans who raced their way in on Wednesday night's event, presented by the Horton Group. Everyone will be behind the wheel of an iRacing staple, the Super Late Model. These cars are 2,800 pounds and pack enough power to reach over 190 miles per hour, but we won't be seeing that speed tonight at the half-mile Stafford Speedway. What we will be seeing, however, is some fendered race cars leaning on each other's doors as they do battle at this legendary Connecticut track. Let's take a look at last week's race, though, with these highlights. Coming off turn number 4, Teddy Hodgson leads the way. Green flag is out. Ryan Blanchard on the outside. Number 1 gets a super great jump, but Teddy Hodgson makes it work down there on the bottom. Side by side now for second place. Jonathan Pulio to the inside. Ryan Blanchard is making the outside work. Get around, looks low. Pulio blocks. I don't know how many more times he's going to be able to pull that move, and there it is. And the Nerf bar goes in. Borges holds on. They're side by side for third. Here comes, down in the grass. Clemens, that's not going to work. Up into the wall goes Borges, and they're all spinning behind. Oh, wow.
But this is where all the battling is, from about Jonathan Pulio, Brian Narducci on back. They're side by side for position number 4. And now there's trouble, Bonza, in turn number 2.
Oh, yeah, it all checked up right there at the front of the pack. Looks like Mike Christopher Jr. got a piece. I think Narducci also got a piece. I think Julio, Narducci, and Christopher all got tangled up. Blanchard, another heavy hitter, getting a piece of that one.
Still running up in the top 5. Still side by side for second, though. Tesser to the inside. White flag is in the air.
Final time around, Stafford half mile. Teddy Hodgson has led all the laps thus far. Half a lap to go to the end of this one here tonight. Mason Tessier is in second, but Teddy Hodgson comes off of turn number 4, leads wire to wire to take his second win here at the SK Modifieds, winning tonight's 60-lap feature event sponsored by All Phases Renovations.
These past few weeks have been absolutely wild at the eStafford Speedway, but Bonza, what are you anticipating to see here tonight that we should keep an eye on?
Well, Jeff, I think experience is going to be really key, and I'm not talking about experience in the iRacing series, experience in these super late models. Some of these guys don't have experience like others do. Some just got the car before the session even started. So the people who have the most experience, I think, is going to be very critical and who are the favorites to win tonight's event. Also, we've had a lot of good, clean racing these last few weeks. Will that continue today? These super late models tend to get pretty snappy loose on exit, and we've seen some guys get sideways off the corner. So will these guys be able to mind their P's and Q's? Because the preliminary race on Wednesday wasn't the smoothest affairs of the recent races we've had. And my last key, the fan racers, the preliminary racers that advanced from Wednesday's event, 2 you gotta keep an eye on. Ryan Blanchard, he's run very fast every single week, but hasn't gotten the victory yet. It's almost a matter of when and not if he gets that checker flag. But also watch Mason Tessier. Mason's got a couple runner-up finishes, both in the Modifieds, SK Modified, and Tour Modified. But he really loves running these super late models, and he's shown a lot of speed. Maybe he'll be the one to get one step ahead, one position ahead, and get the victory. But for those who are not very familiar with the Stafford Motor Speedway, let's give you a little bit of information on the track with our track preview.
Welcome to Stafford. This half-mile oval was built in 1870 for a different type of horsepower, horse racing, and then automobile racing took over after that. This place is not as flashy or fancy as the half miles that the Cup cars go to today, but this busy oval can still put on a fantastic show full of action for the fans and intense competition for the drivers. Uniquely banked, it poses a challenge for all comers. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 9 degrees, where turns 3 and 4 are banked a little less at 7 degrees. The apron here at Stafford is known for being very wide but flat. Only the bravest of drivers with the utmost grip can make passes down there. Short tracks equal close racing and usually leads to shorter tempers. Keeping calm at Stafford rewards the drivers. It's like the old racing expression, to finish first, you must first finish. Corner exit tends to be the most challenging place on the track, where the fast lane sweeps right out of the corners towards that wall that awaits you. Stafford is an old, worn-out surface, so managing the tires is also key to finding victory lane here. All in all, Stafford poses a fun challenge to drivers, and it's always sure to put on a great show. So settle in, buckle up, it's bound to be a great race.
This track at Stafford Speedway here in Connecticut, it's half a mile long. There's 4 turns here just like every other place, but you have to keep in mind what makes it unique is that it's not the same banking in both turns. 9 degrees in turns 1 and 2, 7.5 degrees in turns 3 and 4. Lots of legendary drivers have succeeded here at Stafford as well before going on to bigger and better things. Some of those drivers, Ryan Preece, Ted Christopher, Mike Stefanik, Bob Potter, Bugsy Stevens, Richie Evans, and more, all cut their teeth at this legendary Stafford Speedway half-mile track. There's a lot of excitement here, and right now the drivers are hitting the track for qualifying. Stephen Massey has the fastest time so far, a 19.321. The track is really cooled off from practice. It's down 6 degrees, only 100 right now, so these drivers are going to see their times go down as well. A cooler track means quicker times. There's your weather in the bottom right.
Yeah, it has gotten cooler at the beginning of the session. The temperature is up to 113 degrees in the track, and it's going to get cooler and cooler, and the track's going to gain more grip. During practice, Ryan Blanchard was the fastest on the track. Peter Bennett, Teddy Hodgson, Ryan Libby, and Richie Coy were the top 5 in the practice session. Obviously, qualifying so important with these races because you want to try and avoid the chaos that may be going on around you. Right now on your screen, you're seeing Dan Wesson, SK Modified Racer, getting a little bit loose off of turn 2 when he goes around. These cars can go around on you off the corner. You got to be very careful, Jeff, because even though you can pick up the gas early, you have to be very, very cautious with it.
You're absolutely right. I've personally done a lot of driving here in these super late models on iRacing. I've had a lot of success in them, but man, they are a very, very difficult car to get used to. Like you said, they get loose on exit. Over 550 horsepower in these cars, and they're only 2,800 pounds. So that much power, as much power as a modern cup car, in a car that is this light, it can really send the thing spinning, but they are putting down some really quick lap times as well. They're turning times about 19 seconds here per lap. These cars are very quick. It's all about who can maintain control. You see on your screen there, Joseph Eilert. He's racing from Spark VR. I imagine he's racing in VR. That's going to be another maybe advantage for him here as he's looking right at everything around him rendered in 3D. RJ Serdell, Ryan Libby, all these drivers looking for success here, and they're all chasing Stephen Massey still, who is still in first place with a 19.321.
Yeah, 19.321 to a 19.328 from Ryan Libby, so just 7/1000ths of a second separating the top 2. We've seen more disparity in this field because of the fact that there's a lack of experience for some of these guys with the super late models. We've seen guys trying to get a hold of it. We've seen them drift up the track in the center of the corner, getting loose, driving it in very deep, sometimes too deep. As you look at Mason Tessier in that 42 car, as I mentioned, the Dighton, Massachusetts native. One to watch, Tyler Wood in the 22 car, one of the guys that also advanced from the Wednesday preliminary race. Great run for him last week. Had a chance for a podium in the SK Modifieds, got nerfed out of the way by Jonathan Pulio at the end. Still a good top 5 run for him. Another guy to watch for, Cassandra Cole, another gal I should say. Cassandra's been really good with these time trials. She's had some great qualifying runs. We'll see how she does. But right now, looking at the speed charts, it's still Stephen Massey on top, Jeff.
Stephen Massey, that's a really phenomenal time, but keep in mind, a lot of drivers wait until the end here. They're hoping to see a cloud come out and cover at least a portion of the track. I think that's everyone's strategy. I don't think they ended up getting one here. Right now, you see Ryan Blanchard has hit the track. He's starting out. Tyler Wood goes around on his second lap. That means his time is locked in. Here comes Teddy Hodgson. All these drivers as well waited until the end. Here comes Brian Narducci off of turn number 4 in a Dale Earnhardt-inspired scheme. Very fitting, I must say, but that time, not enough. The closest up to the top here was Teddy Hodgson with a 19.365. But Stephen Massey is looking to be on the pole as qualifying wraps up.
Yeah, a couple of the cars that did not take time include Justin Williams, Justin Brenn. Jonathan Pulio didn't get time, and neither did Sean Solomito. So now we get ready for the heat races. Top 5 from each heat will advance to the feature. As we get a look at the starting lineup, starting on the front row will be Stephen Massey in the 13 car, and you got Teddy Hodge in the 55. Colchester's Brian Narducci starts in third. Devin Jensick, great run last week in the SK Mod, starts in fourth. Stafford's own Cliff Saunders starts in the 5th position. Kyle Johnson in 6th. Looking in the next half of the grid, you got RJ Serdell in the 7th spot. George Yuska, first time seeing him, starting in the 8th position. Justin Brenn in 9th. And Sean Solomito rounds out the grid for heat race number 1.
There's going to be 3 heat races here tonight due to the number of drivers. iRacing does its own calculations to make sure we get the right number of drivers. It's decided tonight, 3 heat races, 10 drivers in each one. The top 5 are going to advance, so half of this field here will have to race their way in during the Consolation events. It's going to be some great racing here. I'm excited for it.
And remember, cautions come out at the discretion of Scott Tapley. I fell for it. Tapley Jr. on iRacing, but I'm talking about Dylan Kopek. Dylan Kopek is our race director on the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway. Scott, I hope you enjoyed that inadvertent shout out to you. But he decides when the cautions do come out. It's not iRacing bringing out the cautions automatically. So if there is a multi-car pileup or multiple incidents in the same lap, the yellow will come out. Teddy Hodgson, of course, trying to keep up the momentum, winning the SK Modified race last week in dominant fashion. Despite a couple cautions late in the event, nobody could really touch him. Can he make it 2 in a row today versus got to make it through the heat and or consolation race?
Teddy Hodgson is starting on the outside pole, but right behind our leader, Stephen Massey, is Brian Narducci. I mentioned that Dale Earnhardt scheme was very fitting. I wouldn't be too surprised if other people were a little bit intimidated by Brian Narducci. He's very aggressive. He's a very aggressive driver, but he's calculated. He knows when to push it and when it's just not worth it. Right now, they're coming off turn number 4 here. Let's see what he's got. The green flag is in the air, and that inside line is flying. Hodgson got checked up on the outside. A little bit of contact there. Diving to the bottom is the 14 of Cliff Saunders. Now they're side by side for second off turn 2.
Yeah, Devin Jensick just got bumped from behind and hit the wall, but he keeps going, run to green. The battle's up front, though. Massey's got the lead. Narducci looks to the inside of Hodgson. He gives a shot to Massey. Massey hangs on to it, and that's going to give Hodgson the lead off of turn 4. As you mentioned, Jeff, Narducci not afraid to use the bumper, and that did not take long.
No, it did not at all. That's lap 1 of the heat race here, and now Narducci is side by side with Saunders. They are battling hard. That's for 3rd place. Out to the lead is Teddy Hodgson. In 2nd place was the pole sitter, Stephen Massey. He's got a mirror full of Brian Narducci, though, as the top 5 have singled out. Back there in 6th place, though, is George Yuska trying to run down Kyle Johnson. He's actually about a 2.5 seconds back already. Let's take a look with Jensick, though, as he is now fighting for his life to make it in without having to worry about the Consis. I think he's hoping for a caution from Scott Tapley Jr., a.k.a. Dylan Kopek.
He's most certainly looking for a yellow. Cliff Saunders almost got turned on the back straightaway after a little bit of contact from Kyle Johnson. He did hang on, though. Kyle Johnson moves up to the 4th spot. Cliff Saunders back in 5th. Cliff Saunders, one of the late model drivers at Stafford Motor Speedway, was one of the closest finishes in Stafford history this past season for Cliff Saunders. Unfortunately, he came out on the losing end, losing by 1/1000th of a second to Tom Fern that one. I mean, what do you expect from last season at Stafford? A lot of photo finishes. As you look at the battle for the 2nd position right now, Stephen Massey has a rear view mirror full of Brian Narducci.
Finishing 2nd to Tom Fern, man, there's worse things in the world, as getting loose there off turn 4 is Stephen Massey. Opens the door for Narducci to look low. Now he's to the inside. Massey is really trying to hold on to that car. Narducci wheels it by. Now he's going to try and run down Teddy Hodgson. Cross flags have already flown here. They're over halfway through this event. Coming now, completing lap number 6 is Hodgson off turn 4. He's got 10 car lengths to second place Brian Narducci. He's ahead of Stephen Massey. Kyle Johnson sits in 4th. Cliff Saunders now, the last transfer spot, sits in 5th. He's got about 1.7 seconds over Justin Brenn in 6th place. The top 5 are really just hoping that it goes green to the end here.
Yeah, Stephen Massey's car has gotten really loose on him. We've seen him fishtail off the corner the last couple of laps, and you're worried if you're him that you're overheating that right rear tire, and when you overheat the tires, it's really hard to get them to cool down, and he's got Kyle Johnson and Cliff Saunders right behind him. Obviously, though, they're all in the transfer spot, so no need to really be in a hurry. There's just 2 laps to go as Teddy Hodgson crosses the line.
Hodgson across the line, and like you said, it's all about being careful. This is just a heat race. You don't need to go out and make any enemies tonight. Just go out there, finish where you can. If you're in the top 5, great. If not, you can race your way in through the Consi, but just be careful if you're in the top 5 here. That's what's most important.
Yeah, white flag here in the first heat race out of a few. Teddy Hodgson has the lead, and he's got a huge gap. Teddy obviously trying to continue the momentum. That looks like how he ran last week in SK Modifieds. He held the lead that big for the first half of the event before the first yellow came out. But Hodgson continues to roll. Each win matters, even if it's a heat race. It gives you a little bit of momentum boost, and Danbury's Hodgson's going to take the first heat race. Brian Narducci's going to end up in second. Stephen Massey holds on in third. Kyle Johnson fourth. Cliff Saunders fifth. Justin Bren, Devin Jensik, George Yuska, RJ Serdell all will have to try and get in through the Consolation event. Sean Solomito did not take the grid.
For heat race number 2 now, these drivers are getting ready. Ryan Blanchard on the pole. Peter Bennett starts in second. Al Saunders, brother of Cliff Saunders, starts in third. Pete Thickett in fourth. Mason Tessier in fifth. Dan Wesson starts in sixth. Mark Alkus in seventh. Richie Coy starts in eighth. And that will be your field. It's an 8-car field. You might see Tapley Jr. on there. He's not racing. He's race control. That's Dylan Kopech. If you recognize that name, congratulations. You know your drivers on the tour side. He drives the M6 out of Palmer, Massachusetts.
Yeah, really cool that M6 car had a little tribute Mike Stefanik's scheme when we lost Mike Stefanik at the end of the season. And every time I think of the M6, I think about that red, white, and blue legendary paint scheme for the legendary Mike Stefanik. Also want to mention a cool paint scheme in Mark Alkus. You might recognize that paint scheme if you watch NASCAR in the National Touring Series. You see that Haas Automation black and red paint scheme. You've seen guys like Kurt Busch run it. You've seen Cole Custer, Daniel Suarez run that paint scheme. Really cool to see. A lot of cool paint schemes we've seen over the weeks, Jeff, as these guys try different throwbacks. You saw Narducci's Dale Earnhardt-esque Goodwrench black car. It's just really nice to see different ideas and unique paint schemes in this iRacing series.
It's one of the favorite parts of, one of my favorite parts of iRacing, I should say, is all the different paint schemes you can have on the car. The only limit is your imagination and graphical design talent. So if you're like me and can't design a car for the life of you, you can go ahead and have someone else design your car for you. That's what I do. I personally use Midwest Motor Customs. They're a fantastic group. But Ryan Blanchard also does his own schemes, and a lot of other drivers are running schemes made by Mr. Ryan Blanchard.
Yeah, we've seen Justin Williams make paint schemes as well. A lot of guys helping each other out, coming up with cool ideas to make the cars look aesthetically pleasing. One guy you got to watch for, though, is Richie Coy, the New Jersey native starting in the back of the grid. He was pretty fast during practice, and he, I guess, did not have a good time trial lap starting in the back there. Wonder if he's going to make his way through and advance in the heat race, because he was one of the drivers that advanced from the preliminary event on Wednesday, and he was top 5 in the practice sheets for most of the session before we got started with the heat races. So keep an eye out on that orange and white 19 car in the last row.
We'll have to see how he performs. Coming off of turn number 4, Ryan Blanchard leads the way. Al Saunders right there on the inside as well. Mason Tessier with a good jump. Come back a little bit, and now he is pushing. Al Saunders pushes too hard. Saunders goes around, holds onto it there. Just a touch into Reen Akers. Caution is out now. Al Saunders went around there. Let's take a look at the replay when we get a chance.
Yeah, Richie Coy got a piece of that as well. Saunders saved it, but in the midst of that made contact with both Richie Coy and Mark Alkus as they go in turn 1. Mason Tessier got into the back of him, and Saunders had his save, overcorrected a little bit, and poor Alkus and Coy just had nowhere to go. You wonder how much damage they may have. No resets for these cars, so maybe this could be it for the guys that got damaged. We don't know how sensitive is the damage, Jeff, with these super late model cars compared to, let's say, the SK Modifieds.
Well, these cars are very durable. They can take a hit, so I don't think it's going to be too bad for these guys. But these drivers are struggling a lot with the vision in these things. A lot of drivers, Brian Narducci has noted it, especially in the in-race chat, that he's having a hard time gauging the distance to how close he can get to somebody's bumper. And right there, one of the benefits to iRacing is that these drivers are able to communicate with each other. Mason Tessier came on the radio and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't even realize I was that close. I completely misjudged the gap." So keep an eye on that. You never know. These drivers aren't perfect. They might make a mistake like we saw right there. Thankfully, a lot of them own up to it right away. But it's hard to gauge the distance here to how close you can get to the guy ahead of you.
Yeah, misjudgments are part of racing. accidents happen, but just got to keep going right now. Caution laps do count, by the way, for these heats, despite Dylan Kopech manually throwing them out. So we're already on lap 4 out of 10, approaching the halfway point. Second place car, that's Peter Bennett. Normally you're used to seeing Peter in an orange car, kind of like his Legends car that he raced, and now he's moving up to the SK Lights. But now today he'll be running a black 17 car, so a little bit different getting used to as Ryan Blanchard's taking a trek through the infield grass right in front of him. Obviously Blanchard, one of the faster guys in the iRacing series, led wire to wire in the preliminary race. He has won the last 4 preliminary races that he has been in. He's been so dominant. It's just a matter of can he finally get that win in the Friday feature. He's come close multiple times. He's in front right now in the heat race. He's just looking for a way, and he feels like he might have a shot tonight.
He's certainly someone you always need to keep an eye on here. We'll see how that goes later on for him, but I guess to round out the conversation earlier on gauging the distance here, the risk I took was calculated, but boy am I bad at math. That's how I feel a lot of the times. I think we might hear that a few times from these drivers here tonight. It's hard. I mean, the vision is very limited. Maybe we can get an in-car view here while we are under caution of one of these drivers, and it's just so hard to see everything around you. You know, it's hard to gauge how far out your hood goes. It's hard to gauge how much room you have to the inside or outside, so you have to be careful. You rely a lot on your spotter here. A lot of these drivers are running just a standard iRacing spotter. Some of them have their own people helping them out, though. I know Ryan Blanchard usually has someone up there helping him out. There's a couple other drivers out here. Alina Bryden has Wade Gagner helping her out there. Tyler Wood has Kyle Thoreau. So a lot of drivers are using external spotters, but some of them are relying on iRacing spotter. So they're getting ready to come back to the green flag.
Yeah, 4 laps to go as the pace truck pulls off. The leader decides on the restart when they can go, and Blanchard's going. He gets a really good jump. Peter Bennett spins the tires off of turn 4, and that might give Mason Tessier that second spot. Pete Thickett's on the outside. He's got Dan Wesson underneath him for that 4th spot.
We've talked a lot about the power of these cars, 550 horsepower, and when you put all that power down in second gear, sometimes you spin the tires. So now we have a battle brewing for 5th place. That is Pete Thickett and Bennett as well up towards the front, trying to run away from that battle. Pete Thickett holds on to 5th place. Peter Bennett, though, trying to run down 2nd place. That's Mason Tessier. He's just a bumper away as they're going into turn 3.
Yeah, it'll be 2 laps to go when they come back to the line. Blanchard leads by just about 4 or 5 car lengths over that battle for 2nd spot. As you're looking on board at Peter Bennett in position number 3, looking at Mason Tessier in 2nd. Back at the transfer position, Dan Weston, Pete Thickett, and Al Saunders are all together grouped up. Looks like Thickett looks to the inside of Weston. Can't quite get their backs off. As they come down to the white flag, that battle for the final transfer spot is hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy is the battle for the transfer spot. The outside looking in, well, that's Al Saunders who's working and working. I think that front end damage is really hurting the way the car gets through the center, though. So he's not going to be able to run him down. Coming off turn number 4, Ryan Blanchard wins heat race number 2. Mason Tessier in 2nd. Peter Bennett rounds out the top 3, followed by Dan Wesson, and then Pete Thickett will all advance. Al Saunders will not advance now. In 7th place was Richie Coy. Mark Alkus in 8th. Those 3 drivers will have to race their way in now. Richie Coy, Mark Alkus, and Al Saunders having to race their way in. Let's get ready for heat race number 3 with the grid.
Yeah, Ryan Libby starts in the pole for the 3rd and final heat race of the night. Tyler Wood will start in the 2nd spot, so the front row both advancing from the preliminary race on Wednesday. Cassandra Cole starts in 3rd. You got Travis Hydar starting in the 4th spot. Joseph Eiler from Sparks VR in 5th. Dan Butler in 6th. Alina Bryden starts in the 7th spot. Justin Williams in 8th. Jonathan Pulio in 9th. Both Williams and Pulio did not take a time. Both of them had really good runs last week in the SK Modifieds. Pulio got a podium spot. Justin Williams finished in the top 5. So they're looking to keep up that momentum here in the super late models. And good on Pete Thickett for advancing to the feature. He's had so much luck throughout most of the iRacing series. Got into his first feature last week. Gets into it again this week. And now we'll have to see the top 5 in this one who will move on to the feature event tonight.
Keep in mind, Jonathan Pulio starting at the back. Like you said, he had a really great run last week. He did not make many friends, though. He was blocking hard, holding his position, but was not making many friends along the way. I'm wondering if anyone is still holding on to that grudge. I doubt it. It's a new week, but keep in mind, Jonathan Pulio showed us last week He's out here to race, and if he needs to defend his position, he will do whatever it takes, and he's got every right to do it. Led to some awesome action last week.
I have never seen that much blocking in an iRacing event at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway. I was very amazed by how much they were blocking, how early in the race they were blocking. I'm not talking 20, 15 laps to go. They were blocking on laps 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 60. I mean, they were racing really hard, and I guess that's how important track position is. You don't want to get stuck in that outside line because the outside groove is not the most effective line, especially this early in our races tonight. Hopefully when there's more rubber being laid down, it will be. Pace car pulls off, though. Ryan Libby will go, original star of the race, so the green flag given by iRacing will decide when they go. It is out, and it's dead even at the start-finish line.
Dead even side by side. Let's see how strong the inside line is here as Ryan Libby down there on the bottom clears himself a Tyler Wood. Cassandra Cole has slipped her way into third now. It's a side-by-side battle for fifth. Look at Dan Butler on the outside making it work. He touches the wall, but he's going to keep that car moving there. Sixth place is Dan Butler, but now he's falling fast. That outside line hurts. Jonathan Pulio working his way up side-by-side with Eiler. This is Cole, and he's almost there. Now he's got the fender on him.
Yeah, it looked like Justin Williams gave a little bit of a bump to Joseph Eilert a couple laps ago. Eilert went way wide off of turn 4. He's going to lose multiple spots because of it. Right now, Travis Hyder is in the 4th spot. Jonathan Pulio has that final transfer position. The battle's for the 6th spot as Eilert and Justin Williams made a little bit of contact. Dan Butler in there as well.
Contact!
Driving in deep. Gets into Justin Williams. Hits him again. That actually straightens out the 43 car. And we keep on going.
Well, move Dan Butler up to 7th now, and he's trying to chase down the 5th place runner, Jonathan Pulio. Up to the top 3, you could fit them all in a couple of parking spaces. These guys are so close. Ryan Libby has under half a second over Tyler Wood, who has even less than that over Cassandra Cole. Then you have Travis Hydar, a couple more car lengths back and forth. Jonathan Pulio from 9th all the way up to 5th in just a few laps. Cross flags are in the air. We're halfway through.
Yeah, Joseph Eilert's got a couple car lengths of space to try and catch up to Jonathan Pulio, who has that final transfer spot. Up front, Ryan Libby's in good condition right now, leading by about 4 or 5 car lengths over the 2nd place car, Tyler Wood. Pretty evenly spaced between 1st and 2nd, 2nd and 3rd, 3rd and 4th, and so on. So right now, the whole field is singled out. Everything seems to be going well, unless you're Joseph Eilert. He still needs to gain a couple car lengths to get a chance on Jonathan Pulio, as we have just 4 laps to go in the event.
Riding along now with Joseph Eiler, you see he's just trying so hard to get that thing rolling and get some grip on corner exit, but it's not easy to do to run down the car ahead of you here at Stafford. He's following right in the tire tracks of the car ahead of him. That's Jonathan Pulio, but it's going to take a lot to catch up to him. That last lap at 19.766 for Jonathan Pulio, about half a tenth quicker, 19.694. So he's pulling away, so looking like Joseph Eilert, Dan Butler, and Justin Williams, along with Alina Bryden, are all going to have to race their way in through the Consi here. We'll see how that ends up going, though. No promises here. Anything can change in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, 2 laps to go, as you mentioned. We saw Eilert trying to use the apron while Pulio entered in high, and then you saw Pulio enter in low, and Eilert entered in high, but he keeps losing ground, just can't find a way to gain traction on that 57 car. As the white flag comes out, up front it's Ryan Libby. He continues to extend his lead over Tyler Wood. Top 5 looking good so far, as there's just a half a lap to go.
Half a lap to go. Ryan Libby leading the way now, goes into turn 3, riding that bottom, not pushing the car too hard here. He's doing good. He's got the race 1. Heat race number 3 goes to Ryan Libby. Tyler Wood finishes 2nd. Cassandra Cole with a great run in 3rd. Travis Hydar in 4th. And Jonathan Pulio from 9th all the way to 5th now rounds out the cars that will advance. That leaves Joseph Eilert and Dan Butler, Justin Williams, and Alina Bryden to race their way in. We've got Consolation event number 1 coming up.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually going to be our only
Consolation
one,
yeah.
race. Yep. It looks like the top 11 are going to make it to the Consolation race. What that means is one driver will not make the event. To look at the starting lineup for the Consolation race. Justin Bren on the pole. Al Saunders starts 2nd. Joseph Eilert starts in 3rd. Devin Jensick in 4th. Richie Coy 5th. Dan Butler starts in 6th. As we look at the next slide, starting in the 7th spot is George Yuska. Mark Alkis starts in the 8th position. Justin Williams 9th. RJ Sardell in 10th. Ignore Tapley Jr., a.k.a. Dylan Kopech. You got Alina Bryden starting in 11th spot, and Sean Solomito in 12th. I don't know if Sean is gridded, though. He didn't grid during the heat race. We'll have to see if he grids here for the Consolation event.
If Sean does not take the grid, then that means everyone is going to advance here, which is, I think, exactly what Alina Bryden is hoping for. So she is sitting and crossing her fingers because she is right now starting all the way at the back. You got to be careful here. You don't want to be stuck in this position. Sean Solomito is not connected to this session right now, though, so unless he can make... Nope, that's it. So everyone here is going to advance to the next session. This is just a race for something more important than money. This is for pride.
Yeah, it's great track time for these guys as well, especially for those who might came in late third of session, like Justin Bren, who's starting on the pole for his consolation race. Justin Bren excited because, one, he loves racing late models. He's a limited late model competitor, multiple limited late model wins at Stafford Motor Speedway, but he also has upgraded his equipment a bit. He's been having issues with his brake pedal the last several weeks. That's been affecting him. It has not been as effective. He ends up sliding through the corners like the brakes are sliding. But now he's got good equipment, and he's really excited to see how well he'll do. He's had some practice sessions earlier, but didn't get a chance to practice in the session that started a couple hours ago. We'll see how he does, though. But as you mentioned, nothing on the line. You can kind of throw caution to the wind in a way, but at the same time, it does determine your starting lineup. So just how much caution are you going to throw to the wind?
If I'm out there, I'm racing for every single position that I can get, because you know you're making the feature. This is just to get the best possible starting spot for you. I think Justin Bren is going to be in a good position here starting out front. You can sort of hope that second place starts the battle behind you. Right now, coming off turn number 4, the green flag controls it, and it flies. There goes Justin Bren on the inside. Al Saunders on the outside. He's got Joseph Eiler right behind, though. That 12 car takes it all the way down to the apron. Clears himself with the 23 of Devin Jensick, but Jensick battles back on the outside. They're side by side for third place.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys on the outside line take a very conservative entry, going in very wide, just in case the guy on the inside slides up and leads to contact. The battle for third does continue, though, between Joseph Eilert and Devin Jensick. Right behind them is Richie Coy in the 5th position. That battle for third starting to settle out, though, as Eilert peeks ahead.
Eilert now is looking to be clear 4th place. They got a side-by-side battle. Richie Coy to the inside, and to the outside, Devin Jensick trying to find his way to the bottom here. They're still side-by-side.
Yeah, he's got a lot of space behind him to get in line. He's got about 4 or 5 car lengths back to George Yuska, Justin Williams. You got Mark Alkus side-by-side with Dan Butler towards the back of the pack. And then right behind him is Alina Bryden and RJ Serdell. But as you mentioned, nothing on the line right now as you ride on board of Devin Jensick right now in the 5th spot, looking ahead at Richie Coy. That battle for 2nd spot is starting to tighten up a little bit as Eilert tries to reel in that 40 car of Al Saunders.
Now you see Eilert gets right up to that back bumper. He turned well over 100 laps in the practice beforehand, so he is getting used to this track. It's 80 laps here tonight, and I think he's already turned about 150 so far. So he's got a really good grip of what's going on, but he needs to get to that back bumper. Al Saunders is about a car length off. Looks like he slipped up a little bit. That opens the door for Richie Coy to get back up to that back bumper. Richie Coy has to check up, which then opens the door to Devin Jensick to take a look. So now they stay single file as there's a wreck further back, but Dan Butler involved there. He's going to keep it going.
Yeah, Dan Butler and RJ Serdell had a bit of an excursion off of turn 4, but they keep on going, and we keep on racing under the green flag. Top 5, you can throw a blanket over him. Justin Bren has not really pulled away from Al Saunders, and that group of 4 with Al Saunders, Eilert, Coy, and Jensick are reeling in that blue 21 car of Justin Bren. So you wonder, can Al Saunders possibly make a contention for the lead here as they come back to the stripe? There'll be just 3 laps to go in this consolation event, as some clouds have shaded the track now, so that's going to change the handling a little bit, Jeff.
The track temp is as low as it's been all week, or all day, excuse me. 96 degrees right now. We saw in qualifying it was about 100 degrees, so that's really impressive now. 96 degrees, partially cloudy. Well, it's completely cloudy here. You can see how dark the track is. So that makes a big difference here. That last lap for Justin Bren, a 19.763. Talk about consistency. He's run 2 identical laps right there. But a 7.27 for Al Saunders. He's getting close, but he needs a little bit more if he's going to be able to make a run here. White flag is coming out, and he comes off turn 4.
Yeah, Justin Bren had a top 10 finish in the late model feature Stafford some weeks ago. Mark Alkus, by the way, his A9 car became a lawnmower in the front straightaway a couple laps ago. He kind of got loose and trekked through the infield grass all the way to turn 1. Didn't hit anybody though, kept it straight, kept it going. But as they come off a turn 4, it's going to be Palmer, Massachusetts, Justin Bren taking the consolation race. The top 5 finish nose to tail. Saunders in second, Eiler in third, Richie Coy in fourth, Devin Jensick in fifth. But as we mentioned, all drivers in this consolation event will advance to the feature event. Before we start that feature race though, we have a 5-minute warm-up session.
5 minutes to warm up. That gives us some time to thank our sponsors, most especially All Phases Renovations. You can find them over on Facebook as well. Larry Westgate, he also owns the Ator modified car, so he's got some great work. You can see it up there on the screen though. Pools, patios, pergolas, everything you could possibly imagine. More than just the letter P. Everything you can possibly imagine though. They do driveways and things like that there. You see some of the accents, some fantastic work all around. All that from All Phases Renovations, who are also the title sponsor for this race here tonight. We want to thank them especially for putting on this here tonight. Go find them over on Facebook, contact them, and get some hardscapes and renovations done. 508-332-6316. Thank you to All Phases Renovations for sponsoring this event tonight.
Yeah, and thank you to our additional sponsors as well. Napa Auto Parts, Dunleavy Truck and Trailer Repair, Midstate Site Development, Call Before You Dig, Lincoln Technical Institute, Spark Virtual Reality, and Maybury Material Handling. Our sponsors have been such a big help at Stafford Motor Speedway in real life and at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway. We couldn't be any more thankful for their contributions to the racetrack. Also want to make a mention for those who are watching the race right now. Obviously, you're watching on Stafford Speedway's YouTube channel. Well, don't forget to subscribe because we have a lot of content coming into that channel. We've been pumping it out week after week for several weeks during this long and delayed off season. We have driver profiles, including drivers' first wins, like Meg Fuller's first win, Daryl Keene's first win. The list goes on and on. We had a special documentary on the championship battle between Brian Narducci and Marcello Refrano in the SK Light division back in 2018, one of the more memorable championship battles in recent memory at Stafford Motor Speedway. We also have the Bottom Shot podcast. We've had some great guests that have come online or in the office of Stafford Motor Speedway. We've had Scott Tapley, Mike Christopher Sr., Keith Rocco, Lisa Root herself. We've had many different guests, Woody Pitcat, among others. Each interview is always unique because you have a different perspective from a different driver or somebody who's in charge of the behind-the-scenes process at the Stafford Motor Speedway, like Lisa Root. And of course, we have our classic events. We posted races from the 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and even the 1980s. So it's just great to look back on the legendary drivers that have competed at the Stafford Motor Speedway and the racing action, different types of cars you see out there in the track from the 1980s till present day. Recently, we had the 2011 100 lapper at Stafford Motor Speedway, very well known for the amount of lead changes, the swapping of the lead between Ted Christopher and Keith Rocco, an incredible battle for most of that event. Make sure you tune in to Stafford's YouTube channel, check out their content. You will not be disappointed.
No, you most certainly will not. So be sure to check out all of that content as well. There's never a dull moment with Stafford Motor Speedway. Be sure to follow along on all of our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Keep up to date with everything that's going on. As soon as they get an update on what's going on, when we can go back racing, it goes right out on social media. I mean, half the time, Bonsa, you and I find these things out as soon as everybody else does, because it's just from the inbox of the Stafford Motor Speedway higher-ups right out to the social media pages. So that is where you can find the most up-to-date information on everything that's going on once we can get back racing.
And it's good to see that the racetrack is open to private testing. We've seen many videos in the last week of cars getting track time out there. It's really nice to see, and it just gives you that hope that just maybe sooner rather than later, we'll be able to go back racing. We'll be able to have fans back in the stands. We've seen guys like Mark Burke have track time. We've seen George Bissett Jr. and Mad Dog George Bissett Sr. take some laps on the track. That's pretty cool to see George Bissett Jr. and Sr. taking track time. Obviously, George Bissett Sr., Mad Dog, he still races here and there, and he's not done racing yet. Can't wait to see the Mad Dog and the Mad Pup back on the track racing soon.
Absolutely. It reminds me of last season when we saw Mike Christopher Sr. get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
That was cool. And we saw Dan Avery race a couple events as well. A lot of very cool stuff out there this past season. We're going to have a whole lot more cool stuff this upcoming season. So always be sure, follow along, keep up with all the action. Never a dull moment, like I said. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up this next season. So I'm excited for all of that as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if you look at the roster of drivers, it's a stacked field in many different divisions. The SK Modifieds, you have 10, 15 guys that can win any given week. That's over half the field. You got guys in the late model division, the Saunders twins, you got Tom Fern, Ryan Fern. Look at the limited late models, you got Alex Fern, Matt Clement, you got Jeremy Lavoie, won the last 2 championships. You got a lot of different drivers from different divisions that create an overall stacked driver lineup. There's nothing like Stafford, man. The competition is fierce every single week. You come in wondering who's going to take the checker flag. Nothing is guaranteed, and that's going to be more the same, if not even better, come the 2020 season. But the 5-minute warm-up is over. It's time to begin the 80-lap super late model feature. As we get ready for the event, here's a look at our starting lineup, Jeff.
Starting on the pole is going to be Teddy Hodgson. Starting in second is Ryan Blanchard. Third place goes to Ryan Libby, Brian Narducci in fourth. Mason Tessier will start in fifth place, and rounding out row number 3 is Tyler Wood. Stephen Massey will be starting off in seventh place here tonight, Peter Bennett in 8th. Cassandra Cole starts in 9th. Kyle Johnson in 10th. And let's go through the rest of the field there, Bonsa.
Yeah, you got Dan Weston, the Monson, Massachusetts native, starting in 11. You got Woodbury's Travis Hydar starting in 12th, Stafford's own Cliff Saunders in 13th. Pete Thickett starts back in the 14th spot. And then you got Jonathan Pulio in 15th. Justin Brent starts in the 16th position. Al Saunders in 17th. Joseph Eilert 18th. Richie Coy, New Jersey native, starts in the 19th spot. Devin Jensick in 20th. Justin Williams starts back in the 21st position after a top 5 run last week. George Yuska, first time seeing him competing in the iRacing series, starts back in the 22nd position. Alina Bryden, 23rd. RJ Sardell, 24th. Mark Alkis, 25th. And rounding out the lineup is Southbridge's own Dan Butler. Strong 26-car field. Who knows what to expect, Jeff? It's always something new every week that provides an element of unpredictability.
You're absolutely right, and a lot of unpredictability out here. I think someone that is anticipating a lot of that unpredictability, Dan Butler. We saw that patience is a virtue last week. He sort of hung near the back and worked his way up, took advantage of the opportunities as they came. He's driving the rental race car machine here tonight. That's the purple and black number 10 car, starting all the way at the back. Going to have to work his way up towards the front. He's used to a lot of high-speed stuff, though. He's been in jet cars at about 300 miles an hour. He was a photographer for, I believe it was the Blue Angels. All these crazy experiences he's had. So he's used to going fast. I think you will see him work his way up through the field here. The moral of the story, patience is important. And some guys here at the back might have a chance at the front here. But up towards the front, Teddy Hodgson leads the way off of turn number 4.
The pace truck pulls off 80 laps for the super late model feature. This should be fun. Here we go. The green flag comes out. We are underway. It's dead even at the green flag. Teddy Hodgson racing side by side with Ryan Blanchard as they head to turn number 1. Hodgson will come out with that top spot.
Ryan Narducci pulled a really quick crossover move. He barely had enough room to make that move, and now in trouble further back. Oh no, the 46 of Ryan Libby is around. Caution is in the air. Cliff Saunders involved. The 20 car is also in there. Wow. One lap in, Pete Thickett is involved. Oh, yeah, hate to see that.
George Yuska as well. Ryan Libby was the first car to go around. He was battling with Mason Tessier, I believe, right behind him. He also had Tyler Wood to his outside as you look at the replay right now. Last week, we went the first half of the race caution-free. This week, lap 1, caution number 1. I can't tell. It looked like Tyler Wood and Libby might have gotten together. Cliff Saunders pounding Libby's car, and Pete Thickett, as you mentioned, no luck for him. It looked like there might have been contact between Tyler Wood and the car of Ryan Libby as you look on board here with Cliff Saunders. It all happens in front of him, and it just happens so fast. What can you do? But we remain under yellow. It's our first caution of the day. Caution laps do count this future event right now as we try to see who's in the pits. Teddy Hodgson is the leader. Several cars involved in that one. As we look in the pits, it's Pete Thickett right now getting his car repaired. No tire changes, no changes in terms of adding fuel to the car. It's just getting all the repairs done. Depending on the damage, you might be stuck in the pits for a minute, 2 minutes, who knows, as Pete Thickett now makes his way back onto the racetrack. Trying to beat the pace truck out. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to stay on the lead lap and make his way back to the tail end of the field. 3 laps complete right now as we look at the full field rundown. Teddy Hodgson continues to lead. I mean, there's only 1 green flag lap. Ryan Blanchard second, Narducci in third, Tyler Wood in fourth, Mason Tessier in fifth, Stephen Massey sixth, Peter Bennett in seventh, Cassandra Cole in eighth, Kyle Johnson ninth, Travis Hydar 10th, Dan Wesson 11th, Cliff Saunders in 12th, Al Saunders 13th. Jonathan Pulio 13th. He had a little internet connection issue there for a moment, but he's in 13th. Al's in 14th. Jensick in 15th. Justin Bren 16th. Eiler 17th. Richie Coy 18th. George Yuska 19th. Justin Williams 20th. Alina Brighton 21st. Mark Alkus 22nd. Dan Butler 23rd. RJ Trudell 24th. Ryan Libby and Pete Thick involved in that accident on the first lap back in the 25th and 26th spot as we get ready for the green flag.
You see Cliff Saunders here. He's back in 12th. He's got his brother, Al, right behind him. So Cliff is in 12th. Al is in 14th. But a lot of front-end damage to Cliff Saunders' car. I'm wondering how that's going to impact him. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But Teddy Hodgson still leading the way here as he comes off turn number 4. Green flag. Oh, Blanchard! Oh, he cut the nose off of Brian Narducci. I think there might be something brewing there because Narducci does not take kindly to things like that. That was a hard block. Here comes Narducci. He checks up for the bottom shot move. But man, he is probably steaming inside that car. That was a bold move by Blanchard.
Yeah, Blanchard actually spun his tires off of turn 4 when he matched the gas pedal, and that's why he got loose off the corner and cut in front of Narducci. Alina Bryan spun out on the restart, kept going. We got a wreck in the back, though. We got one car upside down in the back of the pack, and that's going to bring out our second yellow of the event. That might have been Al Saunders that went upside down in turn 2. A couple other cars were involved, so we'll get a replay here and see what happened. It was mid-pack, but
it was Al.
8 laps in, 2 cautions. As you look at Al Saunders, man, tough luck as we look at the replay. He's outside of Jensick. It happens in front of him. One car gets turned. It's Cassandra Cole. Cassandra Cole was the first one that went around, and Saunders slammed into Cassandra. Kyle Johnson might have also gotten a piece as we look now from Cassandra's perspective. She's side by side with Peter Bennett in the 17 car. They're riding on board of Cassandra right now, and she might have gotten a nudge from the left rear. Couldn't tell if that was Kyle Johnson that might have gotten into her. Hard contact with the outside guardrail. Now bring out the second yellow as a result. If we look from outside, yeah, it's Kyle Johnson, the 88 car on the inside of Cassandra. Washed up the track right into her.
Very frustrating when that happens, but Al Saunders goes up and around. Man, very aggressive. I shouldn't say aggressive. What's the word I'm looking for? I've been doing this. I've been speaking English for 21 years, and I can't seem to think of the word that I'm trying to find. And of course it happens when we're live here on the Stafford Speedway YouTube channel, and we want to thank everyone for tuning in as we watch Jeff struggle with the English language as we are 10 laps into the event, 70 more to go.
Nice save, I guess, Jeff. But yeah, Kyle Johnson entered in high. It looks like he might have just got a little bit loose or drove it in too deep and washed up into Cassandra. So they'll have some work to do. No one's in the pits, though. Looks like Cassandra, Kyle Johnson did keep on going. Right now, I think all 26 cars still in the race on the lead lap. Actually, 24 cars in the lead lap. Cassandra Cole is a lap down. Mark Alkus is a couple down. Alina Brighton, as I mentioned, spun out on the restart. Good break for her that the yellow came out so she can rejoin the field. Teddy Hodgson is the leader, though, as the field crosses the line, taking the 1 to go. Tyler Wood on the outside starts in second. Ryan Blanchard in third. Ryan Narducci in fourth. Mason Tessier in fifth. Stephen Massey sixth. Peter Bennett, Hydar, Dan Wesson, and Jonathan Pulio rounds out the top 10. Last restart, we saw Blanchard get loose on the jump because of tire spin. You mentioned 550 horsepower, Jeff. Got to keep an eye out. And because if you get loose in front of this field, there could be a lot of chaos.
There certainly can be a lot of chaos. We've seen some chaos already. We're 2 cautions in after only 11 laps. Blanchard gives a nudge to the back bumper of Teddy Hodgson. Hodgson with a great jump. They're side by side for second. They're side by side for fourth now. But Teddy Hodgson hopes that battle continues behind him. That'll give him an opportunity to pull away. Blanchard is clear for second place, and now the top 3 are all in a line. Narducci gets clear as well. Tyler Wood, though, stuck up on the outside. Dan Wesson with an aggressive move back there, but everyone manages to keep it going. Another lap complete.
Yeah, try and get a green flag run going here. Try to settle a rhythm. Right now, front, Hodgson does lead by a couple car lengths. You're riding on board Mason Tessier. He's got Tyler Wood in front of him. He's got pressure from Narducci in the back. Narducci does go to the inside of the 42 car. They're door to door coming off the corner, battling for that fourth position. They stay side by side, trying to get that outside line working his test here, but it's not going to work. Narducci does take the spot.
You saw on that in-car camera there was a little knob there, and then part of it said front. That is the brake bias, which is something these drivers can adjust. They are all on the same setup here, but they can adjust the brake bias. That's the amount of braking force at the front or rear of the car. You move it towards the front if you want to tighten it when you're braking. You move it towards the back to loosen that car up while you're braking. It doesn't really affect the way, the speed of the car or the weight distribution, so it is allowed to be changed during the race, but it can really help. If you're spinning loose under braking, you can jump that right up. So keep an eye. A lot of drivers might be working their brake bias here tonight, as Blanchard now just a couple of car lengths off Teddy Hodgson. He might have a shot at the lead soon.
And it's great that they have that option, with these fixed setups. You don't have as many options to adjust the handling of your car. But with the brake bias adjustment, let's say you're loose entering the corner, put some more front brake just so you can get a little bit tighter under braking. It'll help. So they have that option. It does help improve the handling of their car if it's really bad. We haven't seen many cars have issues entering the corner, though. We saw Mason Tessier get wide a couple laps ago, but he kept on going. Right now up front, the top three are evenly spaced out. Teddy Hodgson leads by just about a car length over Ryan Blanchard. Right behind them is Tyler Wood. The closest battle on track right now is between Mason Tessier and Steven Masick for that 6th position.
It absolutely is a great battle going on back there for that 6th position. But you gotta love the way these cars look and the talent it takes to drive them, the small spoilers on the back, the big wide front ends, the amount of power that they're putting down. Putting it into perspective here, they have about as much power as the modern Cup car, but they're a couple thousand pounds lighter. These cars are quick on the gas, and they're turning laps here at just about 19.5 seconds. Teddy Hodgson is showing these boys how it's done, but Ryan Blanchard has a really good shot at taking the lead here. Just off that back bumper, you see him, but he's got to find a way to get a run going.
In the middle of the pack, Dan Weston was stuck on the outside line and tried to get in line. Richie Coy did not allow it. He drove it very deep into turn 1. Got into Weston, they got sideways, but kept it straight, so we stay on the green. That battle is hot, though, with Richie Coy. He's got Joseph Eilert next to him. They door each other again in the middle of turns 1 and 2, just outside the top 10. Up front, though, the top 3 remain the same. It's Hodgson, Blanchard, and Tyler Wood.
You gotta love this battle back here as well. Joseph Eilert in these past few weeks has really started to step up his game, and he's been doing a fantastic job. He's raced his way up from 18th now all the way up to 11th, as he's now clear of the 19 of Richie Coy. He's done a great job figuring these cars out, figuring out these other drivers. He's working his way up through the field. The biggest mover so far, though, up 12 spots is Devin Jensick. Started all the way back in 20th, cracked his way into the top 10 now and having a great run. I mentioned Dan Butler earlier. He's gone from 26 now all the way to 19th. Put together a really solid run here as he's under fire from Justin Bren.
Well, you mentioned Devin Jensick. Devin started back in the 20th spot in the SK Modified feature last week. Came home at 6th, so he knows what it's like to make their way through the field and avoid all the chaos that happens in front of him. So a good run so far for Devin Jensick in that 23 car. As the field singles out, getting a bit of a run here under green going. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself. Looking up at the front, though, Teddy Hodgson continues to lead. The gap has not changed much, Jeff. It's just about car length. Do tires really matter that much in terms of tire wear in the long run with these super late models?
With the super late models, you definitely will feel the car change the way it handles. You'll find that your runs to the center change quite a bit, and your lap times, though, will remain fairly consistent. So you have to be careful. You want to take care of your equipment. But tires aren't really the end-all, be-all here. It's a lot. These cars rely very heavily on the driver, more so than a lot of other cars. They're very responsive to the driver inputs. So if a driver makes a mistake, there's not much room for forgiveness. You have to be on top of your game here if you want to drive one of these cars.
For your George Yuska fans, he spun out just about a lap ago. That's him in front of the leaders right now. He and Justin Williams got together on the back straightaway a lap ago. Yuska took it for a spin but kept on going. Now he's going to be in danger of losing a lap to leaders. Teddy Hodgson, same gap. Back in the 4th spot, though, slowly reeling them in is Brian Narducci. And we know Narducci, no matter what car he's in, is going to be someone to watch for, just like Teddy Hodgson. he was moving his way through the field in the SK Modifieds last week, got caught up in a late race accident with Mike Christopher Jr. and Ryan Blanchard. So looking for a little bit better luck here, but as the leaders approach Yuska, you wonder if Yuska is going to let them go on the outside or let them go on the inside. Lap traffic can always be a factor.
It absolutely can. Typically at Stafford Speedway, the lap cars go to the bottom here. But let's take a look on board with Tyler Wood as he sits in third place, trying to pass Ryan Blanchard here. You see he's right up there on that bumper, but he's a little bit slower getting on the gas here. Might be taking care of his tires, or he might have used them up a little bit too much already. That's Tyler Wood there in the 22 car. He's doing a great job right now. And right now, Hodgson gets checked up by George Yuska. Yuska moves up about half a lane. And now going off the corner, Hodgson has to go down a little bit. That hurts. Let's see how Blanchard works his way by.
Yeah, it looks like Yuska is going to give him space, though, so good on George. He'll fall a lap down, but he's going to try and give the leader space. George Yuska, a street stock racer from South Glastonbury, Connecticut, making his debut in the Stafford iRacing Series. Didn't really change much in the top 5 in terms of the gap right now. It still remains the same. 31 laps completed out of 80. And right now, Teddy Hodgson is in the driver's seat. But you wonder, do you really need to be aggressive right now? Or can you take it easy and try and make your attack later on in the event? We saw Ryan Blanchard last week. He was about a second and a half behind Hodgson. Reeled him in, cut the lead in half. Was going very hard and was reeling in Teddy Hodgson before the yellow started coming out. Here, though, it's a little bit different. Hodgson only leads by a couple car lengths, but Blanchard just can't seem to find a way to get to the back bumper of that 55 car.
I think Ryan Blanchard's biggest advantage is the team he has behind him. He's a member of the Posse. It's a group of very well-known iRacers that all work together, Ryan Blanchard being one of them. Some of the other names, though, Brandon Wilkinson, who's Teddy Hodgson's spotter. You also have names like Ty Majeski, who's the highest-rated iRacer of all time, probably the best iRacer of all time. And they've got someone else in their corner, someone that drives super late models in real life, Brian Tedeschi. I wouldn't be too surprised if Brian is tuned in tonight, helping out his buddy Ryan Blanchard, making sure he's calm, making sure he's hitting all of his marks. Having a team like that behind you is a huge advantage here. Ryan Blanchard knows he's got one of the best teams in the business in his corner. I think he's going to be a little bit patient here. He knows he can get around Teddy Hodgson if he needs to. It's all a matter of execution going forward, though.
Yeah, I mean, you still got 55 laps to go, so plenty of time, or 45 laps to go. I swear I can do math. You see George Yuska there in the infield grass. He spun out again about a lap ago. It's been a rough 5 or 10 laps for that 3 car. He makes his way onto the access road. He might pull it over here and call it a night. Looks like he is done. So tough luck for the man making his debut. George Yuska, a couple spins, and he pulls it over. Teddy Hodgson has started to extend his lead a little bit. Tyler Wood, though, right on the back bumper of Blanchard. The next car that's in danger of losing a lap is RJ Sordell. He has about a couple seconds, though, to that 55 car Hodgson, so not too much traffic to worry about for the leader.
Not too much of a concern at all. You see the sun is out. The track has brightened up. That is going to change the way these cars handle. Let's take a look with Tyler Wood, though, as he's right there on that back bumper of Ryan Blanchard, trying to run him down and get around him. Keep in mind, I've said this before and I'll say it again, just because you're faster than someone doesn't mean you're fast enough to pass them. And that's in the same vein as it's not the fastest car that wins the race, it's the first one to cross the line. You have to take care of your stuff, you have to be smart, and you have to wait for that run to come. Just because you can get up to someone's bumper doesn't mean you're quick enough to get around them.
Yeah, the line goes. It's one thing to catch someone, it's another thing to pass them, and that's what we're seeing right now with Tyler Wood trying to get past Blanchard. For those who don't know Tyler Wood, Palmer, Massachusetts native, he's a crew chief for Gary Patnode and Justin Bren when Bren competes. Patnode, limited late model driver. Justin Bren competing in the limited late models as well. Not as often as he used to, though. Looking to get back on track soon, though. Also a spotter in the Road to Pro iRacing series, a series where it helps drivers make their way into the pro levels of the e-racing series. Tyler Wood, he's shown a lot of success in the preliminary races. He's been very fast, week in, week out. We usually see him a top 5, top 10 competitor. He's had some tough luck. Finally showed his strength last week despite getting bumped out of the way by Julio in the last lap. He's still all over that back bumper of Blanchard, and Blanchard continues to lose ground to Hodgson. How much patience is Tyler Wood going to have? He's looking to the inside right now for that second spot.
Now the patience has run out as Tyler Wood goes to the bottom. Blanchard gives him plenty of room. They almost touch there off turn number 4. Here comes Narducci as well. He's going to get right up to that back bumper. Blanchard try and work his way around. Kick someone while they're down. Once they've been passed once, try and get around it again. Narducci now looking low. The bottom shot move comes in turn 3. Narducci makes it work. He holds on to that car. Move Ryan Blanchard back to 4th place. Tyler Wood to 2nd. And Brian Narducci to 3rd, but that allowed Hodgson to pull away by another couple tenths here. He's got a 0.8 second lead over 2nd place Tyler Wood.
Yeah, it looks like Blanchard's handling starting to fall off a little bit. That's 2 spots he's lost within the last couple laps. And it may not be over because he's got Peter Bennett right behind him as well as Mason Tessier in the 42 car. So it could be a possibility that Blanchard falls out of the top 5 here real soon. You see one car down on the apron pulling off is RJ Serdell. He just fell a lap down. He's giving everybody space though, so good gesture on him. But Teddy Hodgson has pulled away a little bit further after that battle for 2nd spot. He leads right now by about 4.5 car lengths over Tyler Wood. But does Tyler Wood have enough in that car to reel in that 55?
I mentioned earlier that the cloud had gone away that was covering the track, and now the sun is out. You take a look at the track temperature, it's rising. It's up to 98 degrees now. Teddy Hodgson's last lap was a 20.054. This lap right now, a 20.004. And Tyler Wood in 2nd, a 19.958. He is running down our leader, Teddy Hodgson, by about half a tenth a lap. That means at this rate, it will take about 40 laps to catch him. Now, there aren't 40 laps left in this race, so he's going to need to either pick up the pace or hope there's a caution, or hope that Teddy Hodgson makes a mistake. All 3 of those things are, they're not really high on the likelihood scale, I guess is one way to put it.
Yeah, Teddy Hodgson's very precise, doesn't make too many mistakes right now. As we look a little bit further back in the pack, back in the 8th spot, we got a group of 4. Nose to tail leading that group is Travis Hydar in the 11 car, Devin Jensick back in 9th. Hydar just took the 8th spot away from the 23 car. Ryan Libby right there in 10th, and then Jonathan Pulio. Right behind them, you still got Richie Coy and Joseph Eilert. They're kind of in the back of this group watching them. We've seen this a couple times in the last couple weeks where we have these cars that are maybe holding up the guys behind them, and it's leading to these conga lines of cars bumper to bumper to bumper. And when you have these lines just bunched up the way they are, the patience runs thin, Jeff.
You're absolutely right. The patience can really run thin with these drivers, and we saw a bit of it last week where Jonathan Pulio got beat up a little bit. So, I don't know. Travis Hydar holds on to the car on corner exit there. Looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage, but he's holding on to it. Back up at the front, though. Teddy Hodgson leads the way, and Tyler Wood is getting the opportunity he was hoping for. He's running down our leader. He's now only half a second back. He could have a shot at it here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of clear track ahead, so it's all on Hodgson and Tyler Wood for now. He has cut the lead by about a car length and a half. The matter is, can he keep it going? Teddy Hodgson, obviously the Danbury native, pardon me for that noise if you heard it. The Danbury native making his debut in the SK Modified division at Stafford in real life, obviously won the SK Light Championship this past season, winning several races. Very excited to go up to the SK Modified division. It's kind of like a dream for Teddy. 2nd generation racer, obviously his father raced modified down in Florida. Teddy actually ran a throwback scheme to his father's Florida modified paint scheme some couple weeks ago. Mainly orange compared to Teddy Hodgson's mainly white car right now. Really cool paint scheme. But Teddy, I imagine, is very excited to get on track here real soon and test that SK modified, because even though he's a rookie, he's going to be one to watch, and it's a very stacked rookie lineup in the SK mods this year, Jeff.
It certainly is going to be a very stacked field in those SK modifieds. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. But let's take a look on board with Bennett now as he is racing. He's lined up in 5th place, trying to get to that back bumper of Ryan Blanchard and take advantage.
Yeah, Blanchard, his handling continues to fall off slightly. He is holding his own a little bit, but he does have Bennett and Tessier right on his back bumper. Bennett's a guy who's known to be patient in these races, tries to save his tires. Doesn't like to be too aggressive right now, but laps are winding down. There's 25 to go. Laps are going by quick at that. So if you're Peter Bennett, how much time you're going to take to try and get up to the back bumper of Blanchard for 4th? But up ahead, Tyler Wood is getting up to the back bumper of Teddy Hodgson for the lead.
Teddy Hodgson's pace has really fallen off these past couple laps. He's about 2/10 slower than he was before. I think those tires might be a bit overused, or I mentioned earlier, these drivers aren't machines. They make mistakes. If you're looking in your back mirror and you see somebody gaining on you quickly, yeah, it's going to start getting in your head a little bit. Now, Teddy Hodgson, that last lap of 20.059 for Tyler Wood, though, that was a 20.083, just about even. So he's starting to reel him in, though. Tyler Wood is close. He's waiting on a mistake from Hodgson where he can capitalize.
Yeah, but it's really hard for Hodgson to make a mistake, and these cars are so equal that you have to be so perfect. We've seen it before. A couple tenths can separate first to 15th in the time trial laps. If you make one slight mistake and push too wide off the corner, that could be it. Hodgson and Wood running similar lines. We see them both washing up about a half a groove. We're starting to see different lines by different guys. We see guys sticking to that white line throughout the corner. We see guys entering low, going up high, diving in the corner and getting a good exit off of turn 2. So as the tires continue to wear, we're seeing different lines. Battle for third is starting to heat up. Battle for the lead continues to heat up. Tyler Wood looks to the inside. Couldn't quite get there though, but his car is rolling really good. Look at him stick to that white line compared to Hodgson, who had to wash up the track.
He's got the tires underneath him, it looks like. He's getting really good runs in the center of the corner, but then checking up on exit so that he doesn't get into Teddy Hodgson. We know there's a zero tolerance policy here on any sort of wrecking. If you're responsible for an accident, even if it's not intentional whatsoever, you're going to be sent to the end of the line here by Dylan Kopech, Scott Tapley Jr., as they say. So now, just half a car length, not even, separates these two drivers up in the front. You've got a battle brewing for the lead with just 19 laps to go.
Yeah, and Teddy Hodgson, known to be a clean racer. Tyler Wood has been pretty clean too. You wonder how long Wood's going to wait though, because what if those tires start wearing out and you got lap traffic a little bit further ahead in Al Saunders? You see Hodgson wash up the track, but Wood is able to stick to that white line. You don't see him correcting to the right that much. His car looks pretty stable. Tyler Wood is in a good spot right now, but it's so hard to pass in that inside line that Teddy's going to pinch you down the way you expect him to pinch you down, because you only got 17 laps to go, and the lead is on the line, the win is on the line.
Now Tyler Wood looks to the bottom. I think his patience is running thin. He doesn't want his nose chopped off in the center of the corner. That's where he's faster. Tyler Wood is much quicker in the center of the corner. We're riding along with a lap car right now. That is Al Saunders, who goes down to the bottom, going to stay out of the way, not play a role in this battle for the lead. I'm sure Tyler Wood is very thankful for that, as he is just a car length now off of Teddy Hodgson. But being fast enough to catch someone doesn't mean you're fast enough to pass them. You have to be careful. You have to be methodical here. You really need to just wait for your opportunity, and as soon as you see it, jump on it.
Yeah, Tyler Wood that last time in turn 3 took a little bit of a cautious entry. Didn't drive it in as deep as Hodgson. Lost some ground in the middle of the corner, but gained it back off compared to the previous couple laps where he would gain the center and Hodgson would get it back off the corner. Just different lines, and when you run the exact same line, you're not going to be able to gain on them. So Tyler Wood just try and find any different method to get underneath, or unlikely, but who knows, on the outside of Teddy Hodgson. Right now there's 14 laps to go. One car is spun off of turn 2. That's Justin Bren. Tough luck for him. He was so excited. Oh, Hodgson gets loose in turn 3. Got a little bit wide. Keeps it straight. Gets loose off the corner. It looked like he got deep into the corner, a little too deep, and that car drifted up the track. 13 laps to go. The lead continues to stay hot between Hodgson and Wood.
This is a great battle. Here comes Tyler Wood on the bottom. Sends it in. Locks up the brakes. You saw a little bit of smoke. He stood on him to not get into Teddy Hodgson. He wants this lead so badly, but he doesn't want to get a penalty or cause a wreck. He doesn't want to take out Hodgson. If he's going to win this race, he wants to do it clean. Now he gets down to the bottom. Lap car ahead. RJ Surdell in the 87 right there. But Hodgson has got a mirror full of Tyler Wood. Wood is quicker, but can he get around?
Well, the thing with Wood is that he's got a lot of space back to third spot, and that battle is hot right now. It's a three-way battle between Narducci, Blanchard, and the 17 of Peter Bennett. So Tyler Wood has many chances to make a move and be aggressive, because he's got about a couple seconds back to that third position. When they come back to the line, there will be 10 laps to go. You see Wood taking a higher entry, off the gas a little bit earlier, steps on it off the corner. He looks to the inside of Hodgson again, going to turn 1. Hodgson gives him room. They're side by side for the lead.
Side by side for the lead. Here comes Tyler Wood. Hodgson gets loose on the backstretch. Now here comes Wood on the bottom. A little bit of a touch. He didn't bump him. He didn't hit him. He rubbed him. And Rubbin' Son is racing as Tyler Wood takes the lead off at turn number 4. What a battle for the lead, but I don't think it's over yet. Let's see what Hodgson has.
Well, we've seen before when Hodgson had his, or when Ryan Borden had his battle with Kyle Souza in the late models, that when the car got out in front, it seemed like the handling changed a little bit. It seemed like the car would get a little bit looser. You wonder if that's the same thing with the super late models, because as you ride on board with Hodgson, he's not really losing ground to Tyler Wood. They're still bumper to bumper as there's just 8 laps remaining in the event.
8 laps remaining here. Tyler Wood to the lead. He's able to get good runs on the backstretch. It seems like his car's a little more stable on corner exit. The sun is back out though, and that will play a role in how these cars are handling here. Now they've got lap traffic up ahead to worry about. That's the 92 of Dan Wesson looking to hold on to his lead lap. He's running an 18th. He's having himself a pretty solid run so far, but looking for more. Tyler Wood, though, out to the lead. He's got a car length. You see Jonathan Pulio down there on the bottom. No caution, and just 6 laps to go left in this event. Wood leads the way over Hodgson.
Meanwhile, Blanchard took the 3rd spot from Narducci. In fact, Peter Bennett went to 4th, Mason Tessier to 5th. Narducci from 3rd back to 6th. He's had a really rough couple laps, a bunch of contact going on in that group of 4, and Narducci was the loser. 5 laps to go right now, and Tyler Wood starts to slowly pull away from Hodgson. What does Teddy have left in that 55 car? Tyler Wood pulling away a little bit. You wonder if Hodgson's giving his all. He almost cut the wall off the turn 2. He's trying all he can, but Tyler Wood continues to hold him off.
Tyler Wood holding him off. He is just methodical, sticking to his line. His movements are robotic. He is right on top of his game, doing exactly what he needs to do. Dive in the corner, get a good run off, carry a lot of speed so that if it shakes loose, you can just drive through it. He's got the lead over Hodgson. He's pulling away a little bit. Coming to 3 laps to go. It is his race to lose. He just needs to not make a mistake, and Tyler Wood will win this.
Well, Teddy Hodgson got really loose off of turn 4 and almost caught the wall. The handling's starting to go away on that car the harder he tries to drive, and he's losing more ground as a result. Palmer, Massachusetts, Tyler Wood is just 2 laps away from his first win to Stafford iRacing Series, advancing from Wednesday's event. He's just hoping for a caution to not come out right now. Just 1 more lap to take the white, and then it'll be official.
2 laps remaining in this event. You see those brake rotors glowing there on the front left. That car is being driven with everything it's got. It took him from 6th place all the way to 1st. Now the white flag is flying as he comes off of turn number 4. White flag in the air for Tyler Wood.
1 more lap to go for Tyler. What a run for him. He was being methodical, taking his time, found a way to get to the inside of Hodgson, raced him relatively clean. Hodgson's not going to be able to catch back up to him as it comes off the final corner. Tyler Wood, the preliminary race advancement, gives him the Friday victory in the Super Late Model 80.
Tyler Wood wins this race at eStafford Speedway, presented by All Phases Renovations. What a fantastic run. Teddy Hodgson gave it everything he had, but comes home in 2nd. Ryan Blanchard rounds out the top 3. We're going to go to a quick break here, and then we'll come back with your grid and interviews with the top 3 drivers. Well, we just witnessed a fantastic race here tonight. 80 laps in the super late models at Stafford Speedway, presented by All Phases Renovations. Taking a look at the finishing lineup, though, your winner was Tyler Wood. In second place, Teddy Hodgson. Third goes to Ryan Blanchard. In fourth, Peter Bennett. Mason Tessier in fifth. Brian Narducci in sixth. Stephen Massey finished in seventh. Travis Hydar in eighth. Ryan Libby in ninth. And Joseph Eilert, with a great run there, rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, he did a good job going from 18th to 10th. The next 10 down, Pete Fickett, good job for him finishing 11th spot. Devin Jensick from 28th to 12th after faltering late in the event. Richie Coy comes in 13th. Dan Butler from last to 14th. Justin Williams 15th. Cliff Saunders finishes in the 16th position. Dan Weston in 17th. Al Saunders 18th. Justin Brent 19th. And Jonathan Pulio rounds out the top 20.
Rounding out the rest of the field, 21st was RJ Surdell, 22nd went to Cassandra Cole, 23rd Kyle Johnson, and 24th was George Yuska, Alina Bryden 25th, and rounding out the field was Mark Alkus. Now we're going to try and get our top three wrangled in here. We have with us in the booth, though, Ryan Blanchard. Ryan, you came home third there tonight, but what happened over the course of that run? It looked like the car was falling off a little bit.
Yeah, the car was pretty good, and it was a little free off there the whole race, so we had to keep cranking rear brake into her, and I didn't really know there was rear brake in it at first, and one of my buddies, Teddy, told me that there was rear brake, so I could crank some brake into it, and that's what I ended up doing. But I think my plan was to start saving. I thought I was gonna ride at Teddy's pace for a little bit, and I thought his pace was a little too fast for me, and I thought I was gonna burn the right rear up too fast, and it started to like as you saw, he told me he started to burn the stuff up a little bit as Tyler reeled him in, and I figured I needed to back up my stuff a little bit and have my stuff there at the end. And when I thought it was time to go, it took me like 20 laps to get by Brian, and I think either way I waited too long to try to get Teddy and Tyler, and um I'm really mad about that, but I had to do what I had to do to try to win the race. And if the caution came out there at the end, I think we would have been fine, but they were just way too far out front for me to try to reel them in.
Definitely, and you've had a lot of success here on iRacing and pretty much anything you've run. Do you have anyone you want to thank for tonight and everything else you do on iRacing?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone at Wolfpack Motorsports, Mark Logan and Brandon Wilkinson, Riley Stenjum, Ty Majeski from the Posse. Them guys, they really keep my ego up, and, they help me through every race and help me, discover a line that I'm not familiar with, like to go fast. And, Ty and Brandon are really good coaches. Same with Riley. And, without them, I don't know if I would have been fast. And I really have never been good in the super late model tonight, or ever, I should say. And we went flag to flag during the Wednesday race, and I couldn't have been more thankful for that. And big props to those guys. Congrats to Tyler on the win, Teddy P2, and once again, just like to thank everyone at Epic Media, Wolfpack Motorsports, CMB Bowl Repair, Boulder Ridge Construction, Northern Pipe, Arrowhead Iron, Magnolia Hill Farm. They do a lot for me in the real world and on iRacing. Yeah.
Well, you had a great run out there, Ryan. Congratulations on it. Like you said, flag to flag there on Wednesday night. That was presented by the Horton Group. All Phases Renovations here tonight sponsoring this event. Congratulations on your third place run, Ryan. Great job.
Thank you.
Next to join us up here in the booth, talking with Bonza, is going to be Teddy Hodgson. Came home in second place.
Teddy, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you guys?
Can't complain, man. Good battle, a good race there for the last 2/3 of the event after a couple cautions early on. You pulled away for a good bit there, but what happened to the handling of your car that allowed Tyler to get back to you?
Yeah, he was very strong all day, and I knew that me and Ryan and somebody else would be up there in the mix, and he was the one that could save his tires the best. Mine, I just tried to keep a steady pace throughout. I wasn't really pushing, but I wasn't really laying back either, just trying to keep the lead for as long as I could. And they finally wore off just that little bit where Tyler just seemed to have that edge. And I could hold him off for however many laps that was, but those last 10, he just was able to get a run on me. And came home in second, which sucks, but second place is not last, so I'll take it.
What was your car handling like during the last 20, 30 laps of that event?
Oh, it was definitely on the loose side. You had to be really careful on the throttle. It was just on exit. You couldn't push the right rear at all, and it was a little tight in the center too, where he could cut better. So, just have to work on that for next week. And full fender cars are my thing, and hoping to get back to my specialty next week.
Of course, you're talking about the modifieds. For the second place finish, who do you want to thank for the run that you got tonight?
Yeah, of course, I got to thank Monterey Fuel, Pete Matten, Chris Garcia, Papa John Construction, Business Time Motorsports, Keith Valco Racing and Pet Power, Nest Auto, Jim's Welding Ultimate Restoration, all my friends and family watching at home, and of course my girlfriend for running. I'm running her sim this week, so I'm over at her house. So it's pretty cool for my girlfriend to have a sim rig that I could use.
How did you adapt to the new rig?
She's got newer stuff than I do, so it was a little getting used to, but still second place at the end of the day. I'll take it.
All right, Teddy. Congrats on the good run. That's 2 weeks in a row. You've had a great run. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Now, we're hoping to get Tyler Wood here. I don't know if Tyler Wood's having issues with his mic. Here he is right now. Tyler, are you there? You got a copy? Tyler, I guess he might be too excited from the win that he doesn't know how to operate his mic.
The strong silent type, he lets his actions speak for him on track. Actions speak louder than words, and right now he let his actions say a whole lot here as he came home the winner of this race.
Yeah, we'll see if we can try and get Tyler to get his microphone working right now, but he did a great job, kept his car consistent throughout the run, and he was able to make his way up past Blanchard. And it was big that he was able to get by Blanchard because he was on the 9 cars bumper for so many laps, but he was able to find his way through pretty cleanly. And at that point, you just wondered, could he reel in that 55 car in time? Because obviously Teddy out front is going to be really hard to beat. But hey, Tyler did it. And another case of a Wednesday preliminary driver advancing to the Friday event and coming out on top. I'm kind of enjoying this battle between the Friday regulars and the Wednesday preliminary drivers, Jeff. It's pretty fun to watch.
It absolutely is a lot of fun to watch. Bonza, though, do you have any last thoughts here before we wrap up this show on tonight's event?
Rough start. A couple cautions in the first 10 laps, but I think we went caution-free from there on. So, these guys did a great job. Great battle for the lead. It seems like every week we have a good battle for the lead or a good battle in the top 5. It's so much fun to see these guys compete in different cars and still put on a show, just like at Stafford in real life. So congrats to Tyler Wood, the Palmer, Massachusetts native, got it done. First win for him in the Stafford iRacing Series. He's been fast every single week. He came through big last week with a top 5 run. Could have been a podium, unfortunately, like at the end, but it's good to see him come out on top here today.
It absolutely was. And remember, tonight's race was sponsored by All Phases Renovations. They put up a purse here, so now Tyler Wood is going to walk out of this event a little bit richer. Be sure to give All Phases Renovations a call for all your outdoor construction needs for patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, pergolas, and more. You can find them on Facebook or call them over at 508-332-6316. So they are heavily involved here in the racing community. Larry owns Matt Swanson's Tri-Track car. So be sure to support the people that support us and let us do what we love and put on these events here. Without our sponsors, nothing would be possible. So be sure to show them some love. Thank you again to them for sponsoring this event, All Phases Renovations, all our other sponsors as well, Napa, Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer Repair, Spark VR, and every other company that helps us out here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Thank you to Stafford Speedway and Paula Root especially for organizing this event here tonight. Thank you to the entire team here. I'm Jeff McConey in the booth alongside Bonsa Tufa, Sean Ambrose, and our cameraman Dougie Beard. He set up all the cameras for us. Thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts that are listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. You can see the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Be sure to shoot them a follow on Twitter to stay up to date. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to the GSRC YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you don't miss a moment of action on the Global Sim Racing Channel. The next race is going to be Wednesday night, where the Horton Group has sponsored that event. Wednesday night, we're going to be racing here. That's going to be the fan event. It's going to be an awesome race. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern. We also have races upcoming for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. On behalf of everyone here at the Global Sim Racing Channel and the Arute family, good night, everybody.